Hey y'all, Myja here with the DMV Daily, and I'm so excited to be chatting with Miss Keisha Brewer, CEO of the PR Alliance. Hi Keisha, how you feeling today?
Hi, Myja. I'm great. I'm always having a great day when I get to speak with you. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yes. I am so excited to jump into this conversation. And it's always so amazing to see other Black girls in media, in communications, in marketing, because we know that this is a white male dominated industry. And so to see Black women come in and put their foot down, right, take over the whole table,
Yeah.
has been such an amazing just feeling experience. So shout out to you. And I'm so excited to jump into this conversation about PROCON coming up. If you have not gotten your tickets, please do so, because baby, this is going to sell out. But Keisha, let's talk about this a little bit. Tell me about this journey of faith and manifestation to creating this conference that's going to be huge. I'm already speaking it in the DMV. Talk about the journey to creating this.
Yes, and I'm glad you started off by saying faith because, whoo, God, a lot of fear can take over when you're doing something in a lane that you haven't seen before, right? And so for a few years, about 4 years, I've had an idea of saying it's important for PR and communications professionals to gather. But it took the entire 4 years for me to muster up the resources, the energy, the faith to say it's time to do it. And I'm glad that I'm doing it at a time such as this, because when I first started in PR and communications a little over 8 years ago, what I realized is that a lot, especially in PR, was a little competition driven, right? Everyone's trying to get the best client. Everyone's trying to, land the best deals. And what I'm realizing now in this day and age, it has become a lot more collaborative. We have spaces like Respect the Publicist, who's actually a sponsor of PROCON, who is now providing spaces for us to talk about challenges, to share contacts and resources. And those things were so taboo when I first started. So now what I'm saying is, hey, let's get out of our silos. Let's get out of the group chats. Let's get out of the Facebook groups and come in person to gather and have real conversations about the challenges, the trends, the resources, career development, and all of the things that we talk about in our little corners. Let's bring them to the light. And I'm so excited to do that October 29th at PROCON.
Yeah. And can we say shout out to Respect the Publicist, also owned by a Black woman?
Yes.
Okay.
Candace Nicole, we love you here.
The Black girl magic is totally evident here. Real quick, I know I really want to jump into kind of that conversation about community over competition. I love that you mentioned this, but curious, how did you come up with PROCON? Like, where did you get that name from?
So it kind of just came to me. It's kind of weird, but I mean, the essence and what it is, I always use the capital PR when I'm talking about professionals and PR professionals. So I do capital PR. So I decided to shorten it and just say pro. And so when you look at our logo, the PR is kind of emphasized. But what I really think of now when I think of PROCON is really whether you're a current publicist or an aspiring publicist, but really tapping you into being a pro, right? Really leading in the industry, really leading with confidence in all of the work that you do. And this is the space that I want us to be able to do it. Originally, I just thought, hey, pro sounds kind of cool, but it has evolved into such a meaning of, hey, I want us to dominate in this industry and not just say we're communications professionals, but to actually live it, breathe it, and feel it every time we walk into a room or manage a client. So that's really what it means today.
Love that. Now, I was reading up and I kept seeing this phrase of most authentic space, right? When we talk about PROCON, I'm going there. PROCON, when we talk about PR professionals, aspiring, existing, established, experience, new, no experience, all those things, right? And you're talking about bringing all of these different people together in a most authentic way, in an authentic space. Yeah. What does that mean?
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's something that I don't think I touch basis on enough. Anytime you go to a conference, you're assuming that you're going to leave with inspiration. You're assuming that you're going to leave with motivation. You're assuming that you're going to leave with one or two resources. I want to do all those things, but I want to do it in a way where you feel like you're in a space that's authentic. I don't want to just talk to my panelists and my workshop facilitators about, how was your journey? How did you land the job? I want to talk about what does it look like when you have a client that it's not a good fit anymore and now you have to fire a client? Or what does it look like when you sent out thousands of press releases and you're not getting a media hit back? What does it look like when you have to, in the midst of a strategy, say, I think I should actually be going in a new direction, and communicate that to a client without, making them unnerved, right? So I want to talk about all of the things that we feel uncomfortable about as well on a daily basis, but we don't bring it to the forefront because maybe we're nervous too. Maybe we feel like we don't have a friend in that space. Maybe we think no one's having that same challenge, but I want us to feel like we're coming forth with our most authentic self. And in order to do that, I handpicked panelists and workshop facilitators who exude authenticity at their core, who are generous in their sharing of their journeys, who are generous in saying, hey, I didn't always get this right. I'm 15 years into it now, but when I was 4 years into it, I made a lot of mistakes. And here's how you can avoid those. And here's the mistakes I'm still making that we can all feel comfortable to talk about. So when I say authentic, I'm talking, this isn't your regular stuffy conference where you're just learning about their journeys and hoping to get inspired by it. It's a place where you can bring your challenges and your messiest situations to the forefront and feel comfortable doing it.
Girl, bow down to that because, I think it's so important that we give tangible advice, right? Like things that you can actually go back and use, right? Things that you can actually do, the homework piece, right? Like once I leave this conference, let me tell you, inspiration is good. We like to feel inspired,
right.
But also inspiration can sometimes be a temporary feeling, right? So what do I have to do? What can I do when I get home? What homework, what lessons and skills and advice can I actually put to use in my PR strategy, right? In my day-to-day. So I love that you mentioned that authentic piece, that tangible piece, and not just the fluffy inspiration. Of course, I want to hear about your journey, but my journey is going to look different from yours.
Yeah.
So maybe the way you dealt with the client may be different from the way I deal with it. So love that. Okay, let's go back a little bit, right? Because you mentioned kind of that community. Now we're evolving more into this space of community. And before you threw that I've been in this for 8 years plug, I heard that. Before, when you got into it, it was more of a competition space. So when we think about kind of that same vein, what are some challenges that young publicists, new publicists, what grandma said, green behind the ear publicists, are coming into the industry, communications publicists, marketing professionals are coming into the industry. What are some challenges that they're running into?
Yeah, I think the main challenge, and I get plenty of DMs and emails and all of that, is that they can't find people who are willing to kind of give them a roadmap. They're coming out of college or they're just changing careers into public relations, and they're like, now what? Do I start a business first? Do I have a client for free and just use them as a case study? Or do I get in an internship even though I'm 25 years old? Like, what do I do now that I've taken the courses or done the classes? What now? And so that is the reason behind us doing that new and aspiring publicist workshop at PROCON, because we want to literally give you a roadmap. All the questions that I get, we're putting into one workshop of this is how you can integrate into this industry. And for some people, it's going to look one way. For some people, it's going to look another. But we're going to give you a few roadmaps to say, here's your starter point, here's your map, here's your guiding light. And along the way, we want to continue to be a resource. But that's the main thing. They're like, where do I go to really integrate and dive deep? What I'm finding is that they have so much passion. They're so eager. They have hustle. They have a lot of the, I would say, soft skills that you need to be in this field. But now they're like, I'm trying to get into it so I can hone in on those hard skills. Where do I go? And so that's what we want to solve here. We want to help give them that roadmap.
Good. Again, going back to that tangible advice, right? That homework, things I can really take home and actually do apply to my life. Like, I feel like I have something that I can actually work on.
Yes.
So I love that. So we talked about kind of new and inspiring publicists. So let's talk about people who got their feet wet a little bit, maybe been in it 3 years, maybe had a couple of clients. What are some challenges that you hear that group of folks typically face?
Pivoting. And the pivot, and I feel like, gosh, in COVID, we didn't use that word up, okay? But the navigating of when your strategy, you have a good strategy, you've been doing this for years, the strategy is great, but something about it just isn't hitting, or media outlets aren't picking it up, or, it's just not getting the traction and visibility that you want. what are creative ways to pivot and change that strategy in order to still get to the end goal for the client? Because here's the thing, sometimes we get a little stuck when we start off a strategy and we're so focused on implementing the strategy and the strategy doesn't work. Here's what we have to remember. The strategy can change as long as the goal's the same. And so we have plenty of ways to get to the same goal. We have many of channels to get to the same goal. If we focus on the goal, we can be more flexible in the strategy. And so that's a lot about what I want to talk about at PROCON. And it's also the reason why I didn't just say, let's only bring PR professionals there. We're bringing in marketing professionals. We're bringing in social media managers. We're bringing in media professionals, because here's the thing. When we talk about pivoting strategy, we need all of them. When it comes to being a publicist, it's no longer just about getting that media placement, as my dear friend Candace Nicole would say. It's more than just a media placement nowadays. We have social media that we can utilize to tell your story. We go IG lives. We do a lot of owned channels that you have yourself, YouTube, etc. We need a full scope of communications professionals in order to achieve what that overall goal is for the clients, despite what the original strategy was. So I think that's the thing that a lot of them are finding complication in. And I want to make sure that we're good on that, moving forward after PROCON.
Yeah, that's good. And we'll tackle, you got a little ahead of me here. I really want to tackle sort of that piece of PR, communications, and marketing expanding. We'll get to that in just a second. Yeah. But tell me from a personal kind of perspective, what were some of the challenges you faced kind of coming in as that new aspiring publicist, maybe being in for 2 to 3 years? And I don't know, what are some challenges you're dealing with now?
Man, in the beginning, it was, how do I get visibility for my clients? And let's start off with, when I started in PR, I took a client for free. My very first client was free so that I can build up that case study. So my challenge was, how do I build up a client and build up my business at the same time? A lot of people, they choose one or the other. They start marketing their business and then they get the clients. Some people start with the client and say, hey, I'm not going to do any marketing for my business. I'm just going to focus on the client. Neither one of them are wrong, but I decided to do the simultaneous route. And so that was a little difficult for me to, number one, come in and be respected as a professional, because yes, I was just starting my business, but I had lots of experience in communications in general. So how do I come in and say, oh, I've only had this client for 3 months and still be respected in the industry as a well-rounded communications professional? So that was something that I had to kind of understand and grow into. But what really helped me was saying, hey, it's not about the money right now. You're building a business. It's actually about the case studies. And so I had to learn that. And I got as many case studies as I could. And then I was able to show receipts, because that's what clients really want. They really want the receipts. And so once you're able to show the receipts, that's when they start to respect you. So that was a big thing for me. And then now I would say the challenge is scaling in a way that doesn't make you feel all scrambled, right? And so right now, I'm fortunate enough to say that I have a team of 6 communications professionals, and we are doing amazing, impactful work for our clients. But this wasn't always the case, right? I was not always a team of 6, 7, including myself. And now we're trying to figure out, okay, number one, how do I help them elevate and grow in their careers, while managing the business side of things, while also making sure this is a great experience and great quality for our clients. And so the scaling part is also what I want to talk to us agency builders about at PROCON, because that's a whole different, beast. So I think in the beginning, it was all, how do I get respected in the industry, with not many case studies at all. And then now it's about, okay, how do I grow and scale while also lifting as I climb and still executing quality work all at the same time?
Yeah, that's good. Keisha, what gave you kind of that piece of faith, and where you were like, I'm launching this business, like I'm dropping everything, I'm launching this business, asking for myself?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to say I don't know, because it's one of those things where it kind of just hit me and said the time is now. But what I will say, and it's funny because my launch event was called The Time Is Now. And I will say it was because I've been fearful too long. had been trying to use a lot of people as crutches. I was trying to get under other people's businesses. I was trying to, pull people in and say, let's do this, let's do it together, until I thought, it's just time, and time is going to pass regardless. And the thought is never going to go away. And so either you do it now and you do it afraid, or you never do it and you're wondering why you haven't. And so the do it afraid approach is something that's been instilled in me from my mom and her parents and moving forward. And so I had to really just own that, do it afraid. And when you really do it afraid, when you know that you're moving in God's favor, what really happens is that everything starts to pull in the direction that it should. You take that first step, and then the second one becomes revealed. And then the third one becomes revealed. And then on the fourth step, people want to help you. And on the fifth step, things become more clear. You just have to take the first. And once I did that, everything became aligned.
Ooh, child, is this the interview?
Or church, because sometimes we can take it there.
Trying to take you there, baby. Take you there. Oh, I love that. That is so inspirational. Okay, let's talk a little bit about kind of what you mentioned earlier in terms of, these different media avenues that we've seen, emerge. And, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. And so I see all these folks talking about how social media is not this like intern, go get my coffee roll, like post a couple of pictures on Instagram anymore. Like this is a full-time. I mean, when we talk about TikTok and Insta, Facebook, and YouTube market, like this is a full-time communications role, right? And so we've incorporated so many different avenues that sort of come with that, right? Like I said, the influencer marketing, we see that nowadays. Social media has pretty much taken control over communications. So how would you say sort of the role of PR and communications professionals is, I don't know, expanding, changing? What does that look like? What would you say?
I'm glad you mentioned social media professionals, and I'm so excited that a lot of them will be coming to PROCON simply because, like you said, this is no longer we can post and just make sure people know we're here and get off type of field in social media. Social media not only has more channels than we can ever imagine, but think about Instagram. Instagram is a platform with many of channels of itself. You can post a picture, you can post a reel, you can do videos, you can move from TikTok and post. I mean, it's Insta story. It has its own channels within the channel, right? And so there's no way that, it's just an intern role anymore, though internships are available, but you get what I'm saying. So with that, public relations has evolved simply because when we talk about what public relations was originally or traditionally, it was all about telling stories to the media. Well, think about the reason why it was that. It was telling stories to the media because traditionally that was the only channel that they really had to connect with the community. Back in the day, traditionally, there was not social media, there was not YouTube, there weren't all these channels to utilize to tell your story. So if you wanted to tell your story, you contact the publicist, they get you onto the only channel really available. Now, there are so many channels available that we cannot just lean on traditional PR. We have to now come up with PR strategies that target those other channels as well. And so social media marketing versus social media in the PR realm, they can look different. We're utilizing them for different things, where a marketer will be utilizing it to sell and a publicist will be using it to tell the story of the brand. However, we all have to utilize it and we all have to figure out the creative strategies to do so. So yes, PR is evolving because more channels are becoming available to tell people's stories, and you have to be able to tap into all of them.
Yeah, that's good. Keisha, what you mentioned this earlier, right? A lot of new and aspiring publicists, especially those that you may mentor or have talked to, kind of have those soft skills, right? They're passionate, they are willing to learn, they're curious, those soft skills. So what would you say, as this space is transforming, as it's evolving, what do you need to even be successful in this arena?
Yeah, there's many of things, but I want to hone in on two things: compelling writing and research. I want to focus in on those two, because if you come with the soft skills, you're hardworking, you're ambitious, you're curious, and all those things. If you know how to research, meaning I know how to research competitors in my client's industry. I know how to research writers who are talking about my client's topic. I know how to research audiences who are engaged with the topic already. Then you've already done half the work. If you know how to do that research, if you know how to find people, because your clients want to meet their audience where they are. If you know how to find those people, you've done half the battle. Then if you know how to creatively tell a story, so that creative writing, then you're able to put together a compelling pitch and a compelling press release. If you start off with those two things, you will start to see lots of success. You will, of course, have to learn other things along the way, and you'll have to learn about social media platforms. You have to learn about all these other things. But at the core, if you can research and you can write creatively, you're going to be in a very good position. And I really want to hone in on that in the newest and Aspiring workshop as well, because I want to help them understand, what does research and PR really look like? What do we mean by research? What channels do we use to research, right? And then also that creative writing. It's not just, I can say the who, what, when, where, and why, but I can make someone feel connected to the story and connected to the client's brand. You have those two things, you're in very good shape.
Yeah, that's good. So curious, we have this umbrella of communications, and so many different things fall under that, especially as this space continues to, like I said, transform and evolve. You have PR, communications, you got journalism, you got social media, you got broadcast. Yeah. How do these industries or these spaces connect? Do they connect? How does PR connect with communications, and communications connect with journalism? Like, what does that bridge look like?
We all are the ultimate storytellers of the world. I think that first of all, there is no business that runs successfully without communications. Communications, in whatever degree, in whatever level, is the heartbeat of every brand and organization. If a tree falls and no one heard about it, did the tree ever fall? And so communications is telling you why this organization matters and what this organization should mean to you. And that is exactly what keeps clients coming back, or keeps your customers coming back, or keeps anything that you want, your audience in whatever regard, coming back to you. We are the heartbeat. And so that goes for journalism, communication, social media, PR. We're the reason why people care about brands, about businesses, about the world around us. We are the reason people care, period. And so that is what connects us. We are the ultimate storytellers of the world.
Now, the next time somebody come for me at work, that's not in communications, that's what I'm gonna tell them. I'm the heartbeat, baby. Okay. I'm the reason why this company's still here.
Okay. I'm the reason why people still care what you got going on. Okay. So
I have gotten your job because I probably wrote your job description. I love that. No, I think that's really important to note, is that we are truly the heartbeat, right? Like you said, if a tree falls and no one heard about it,
did it fall? We don't
know. We'll never know, I guess.
Exactly.
But no, I think that's so important, that you mentioned that. So tell me, what can our attendees expect at PROCON? Yes. What do you want them to walk away feeling, doing? Well, if someone has never heard of this before and this was your pitch today, what can they expect?
Vibes and value. Because number one, of course, we talk about all the value add. We talk about the amazing panelists that I've handpicked that are authentic to really help you on your journey, the workshops that are facilitated by people who really want to give you the blueprint. We have a content studio for you to get your brand photos. We have vendors there in public relations and communications. We're going to have a career center where you can go over and see what are the latest PR and communications jobs that I can tap into and apply to right now, right? Those are the value adds, but the vibes is what really makes this special, right? I feel like we go to a lot of conferences and they have all of the value, and then it's exhausting and it wasn't necessarily fun. I got a lot on my notes, but I want people to do this in a fun way, right? I want people to have and enjoy the foods from our chef Mike B, enjoy the tunes from DJ Davy J, enjoy our host Shay Parker. I want people to really enjoy the learning process of public relations, because if you don't enjoy the process of learning public relations, you are going to quit early. it is one of those fields where you're in the nitty gritty. It can be, high strung, high stress, but when you enjoy the process and stop for a minute and say, hey, I'm doing great work, this is great stuff, and you feel that energy around you, it'll give you the momentum to keep going. And so that's what we want to do. It's going to be value plus vibes.
You the vibes of one place so I get the value and the vibes.
Yes,
exactly. Book a ticket. I love that. Keisha, what would you say is different? What do you want to be different? I know this is new, right? And like I said, I'm speaking so much success over this conference for you. Yeah. What would you say you want to be different from other PR conferences, communications conferences, and seminars and all the good things? I know we talked about vibes and value, right? So is that the unique difference, of PROCON in terms of what people are getting out of this, what value they're getting?
Yeah, I think that it's a one-stop shop. We talked about the vibes and the value. So when I think of it, I really think of one-stop shop, one time a year where you get to slow down, celebrate your success, say, where am I in my career? Here's a space where I can go in and kind of checkpoint. Where am I in my career? What challenges am I having? And lean on the individuals in the room, or get into another career field by going to our career station and figuring out the jobs that are available. Really being able to take inventory of yourself as a public relations and communications professional is really what I want to bring to the table. And like we talked about, I think the authenticity is what people are going to see is the key. It's going to be the most unique part of it, is the authenticity, because in my core is very authentic. And I'm going to say to you, hey, look, I had a client and I didn't land anything for them for 6 months. What do we do? Huh? Sis, bro, tell me in the room, what do we do? Right. And so that's what I want to bring to the table, a fearless space of authenticity, a one-stop shop for you to take inventory and really dig into who you are as a professional and solve it right there.
There you go. One-stop shop for vibes and value. Okay. Vibes and value.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. All right, Keisha, give us the plug. Where can we find tickets? Where can we, all that good stuff, find out who's going to be there, the vendors, the DJ, the food, the vision, the vibes and value, all that good stuff. Where can we find her?
Yes, absolutely. So you can go to experienceprocon.com if you want to just purchase tickets, see who our panelists are, understand who's powering the conference, which is powered by my agency, the PR Alliance. But you can also visit us on our most active platform, which is Instagram at Experience PROCON. There you'll be able to see the DJ, the host, the panelists, the location, all of the things. And we're going to be updating that every single day leading up to the conference. So I'm excited for you guys to learn more. Definitely purchase your tickets because tickets are selling fast. experienceprocon.com.
Whoop, whoop. Y'all go get y'all tickets before they sell out now. You don't want to miss the vibes and value.
No, okay? You don't.
You don't want to miss the vibes and value. Keisha, thank you so much for chatting with the DMV Daily and sharing about your experience, what we can expect from PROCON and all the vibes and the value. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for presenting this platform to me and just being an amazing communications professional yourself. I thank you so much for sharing this platform with me. And I look forward to seeing everyone at PROCON.
Yeah, let's come on PROCON. We'll see y'all there.